Hey y'all, it's Alex and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be testing out acrylic paint markers in my illo Sketchbook. At least 2 weeks ago now, I put up a video of doing acrylic paints in my illo Sketchbook to see how the paper would handle it, and I thought it went over really well. And I also that weekend had just bought my first Posca pens and also a few Moltow markers. So I decided I wanted to take a stab at using them in this sketchbook, because I didn't particularly want to just do them on loose pieces of watercolor paper. And I figured that the biggest hurdle would be the fact that Posca pens and acrylic paint markers in general apply a lot of friction to the paper when you're using them, and you've got to constantly be pressing them, and they run out of ink, so they rub the paper more, and so on and so forth. So I figured that this would be a good test of the durability of this paper. And it was also kind of like a tester for me to see how detailed I could get with Posca pens in creating this character who's like a moon elf warrior woman. I wanted to find the balance between a detailed enough character but a defined enough character, you know what I mean? Like, she's got big areas of fabric for me to be able to color in with these big nibbed Posca pens, but she's still got a lot of depth to her design. The Posca pens that I bought, I actually bought from a Blick store here in town that was closing, so its stock was like entirely picked over. So I had to grab a random assortment of Posca pens, and I also grabbed 2 Moltow markers at the same time because their colors just spoke to me. I think I got mostly the average size of Posca pen, however, I don't know. The red one that I think I bought after I filmed this video is bigger, which actually helps for filling in space, and the Moltow marker I got is also larger than the average Posca pen. Now, fun fact, nothing to do with the paint markers, my camera has been doing this thing where it decides to shut off on me halfway through filming. So I got to this point in the coloring process before I figured out, oh, my phone died on me or something. It just goes to a white screen, which it did during the first time that I tried filming this video with this cute demon boy character, but I just kind of jumped back in on this one. And I'm sorry if it's a little blurry. I think it gets better later on. I'm very sorry if it is blurry throughout. Oh man. Anyway, moving on. Another thing that I kind of wanted to touch on now that I've been sitting on this video for a couple weeks. I filmed this two and a half weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And what I've seen a lot of people talking about is how the watercolors don't take to the paper as they did before. And I can confirm that. I do get the same speckling that people have seen, and that's why I was particularly worried about this video, and hint hint, the one that I have next in my queue. But I tested my Posca pens in my new sketchbook today, and they work just like this same dream that they were when I filmed this. So I was able to do a lot of layers. I was able to do I didn't do as much of the gradient work that I did like on the breastplate of this character or underneath of the arm, but I definitely still did an equal amount of layers, and it handled it pretty much the exact same as this sketchbook did, which is the old shipment. For those wondering, I think what happened is the illo sketchbooks changed the weight of paper that they use, and the new sketchbooks are a tiny bit lighter, and they also feel a little bit smoother. I don't know exactly what else would have changed, but it's sad that I won't be able to use watercolors in it, but Posca pens might be coming up as my new favorite drawing tool. I used them on a full page piece today on flat irons, which are this geologic feature that they sound really weird, but they look really pretty, especially if you find the flat irons of the water pocket fold out in Utah. So beautiful. Way off topic there with that geology shit. Back to the Posca pens. The reason why I did this video was, of course, to test how the paper would handle this much abrasion. And I have to say it handled it pretty well. I did expect some amount of pilling, kind of where the pen will tear up the paper, or I don't know if it's necessarily the pen tearing up the paper or the nib falling apart, but I'm guessing it's the paper. At least if you don't go over the same point like tens upon tens of times, it doesn't wear through the paper. And I accidentally got some marker on my swatch page behind this page, which is exactly why I did this page in the very, very back of my sketchbook. Like, this is the last page of them all. In the corner where I had like put my hand underneath of it and started coloring just to make sure that I didn't get any more paint on the next page, it curled a little bit, and it did that the same on the piece that I painted today, which I can flash in here. The only thing I found kind of interesting about using Posca pens in this was using them in combination with fine liners. The Sakura Pigma Micron that I used over top of this one, because I didn't have a Posca fine enough to be able to do line art comfortably. I found that when I was done with it and I looked at it from the side, it looks a little shiny. I think you'll be able to see that in some of the glamour shots at the very end of this video, but I don't particularly like that, so I'm definitely going to be sticking more with the lineless style, or just having very thick lines. So if you guys end up doing any work with Posca pens, or any work in, like, if any of y'all have art to share, I would love to see it, and you guys should link me down below. I think my favorite piece about, or my favorite part about this piece are the subtle gradients I was able to work in by dropping down a little bit of color and then blending it out with the base shade. Here's that pilling I was talking about. You can rub your fingers across it and it doesn't really break off any of the pieces, so I find that they're not really much of an issue. And they kind of add a little bit of texture to the background that I like. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you'd feel so inclined, hit that subscribe button and check me out on my other social media handles. Thanks, and I'll see y'all in the next one.